Hi everyone! Today in this video, we're going to study narrative tenses. You can find this lesson in your coursebook Speak Out Intermediate, Lesson 2.2. We will start our lesson with a short text, and through this text, we will study the simple past tense, the past continuous tense, and the past perfect tense. Then, we will do some exercises, and I'll finish after suggesting you several links for further study and practice. We use narrative tenses to describe events that happened in the past and for telling stories. Here, we have a short text. Please pause the video, read it, and decide which tense is used to talk about the main events in the story. The answer is the past simple tense. So, those verbs written in red are all in the simple past tense and they describe the main events in this story. I have another question. Which tense is used to give background information? And the answer is the past continuous tense. And the sentences written in blue are all in the past continuous tense. Let's look at these tenses more closely. We use the simple past tense for events and actions that started and finished in the past. When you look at our timeline, you see that the action finished in the past. The time of the action is over in the past simple. And with this tense, we can use certain time phrases such as in 1990, last week, then, last month, last night, 3 days ago. As for the form, we use a past verb after all subjects. The verbs could be regular and irregular. You can find the list of irregular verbs in your box. If you want to make negative sentences or ask questions in the simple past tense, we do not use the past form of the verbs. You can see the examples in the table. What about the past continuous tense? If we want to describe the background to our story, or to talk about things that started before my story and continue through my story, I can use the past continuous tense. So, that is, it was raining in the past continuous tense to set the scene. We can use the simple past tense with the past continuous tense. In this case, the past simple refers to the short action that interrupted the longer action in progress in the background. In other words, it shows one action happened while another one was still happening. When you look at the example, you see that the sentence "he was waiting" was interrupted by a shorter action, "he got an SMS." We can use conjunctions like as and while to talk about two actions that were happening at the same time. While he was reading the message, his hands were shaking. And from this sentence, we understand that he was reading the message and his hands were shaking at the same time. What about the form? With the subjects I, he, she and it, we use was plus verb ing. And with the subjects you, we, and they, we use were plus verb ing. In the table, you can see the examples in the past continuous in affirmative, negative, and the question forms. Please remember, state verbs are not usually used in the continuous form. For more information, you can look at your coursebook, page 128, or you can watch our previous video on verb tenses. Let's go back to our story. Now we have some more additions. Please read the story again by paying closer attention to the sentences in red, and then answer the questions. Now you can pause the video. Let's check your answers. For the first question, let's analyze the first sentence in red. It says, his mother had left home long before. In this sentence, before refers to any time in the morning before Ahmet woke up. So, we understand that his mother left home first and then he woke up. Second question also asks about the first action. He realized that he had already fallen in love. This sentence in our text shows that he fell in love with the girl yesterday, but he realized it later, after he got the message. So the answer is A. The last question asks, which sentence is true? When you look at the last sentence in the text, you see that he didn't have such feelings before. Before here refers to the time before he met her. So the answer is B. All these sentences in red are in the past perfect tense. When do we use the past perfect tense? We use it to show that something happened before another action in the past. When you look at our timeline, you see that there are two past actions and past perfect shows the previous one. Here in the example, we used past perfect, his mother had left, with the past simple to show one past action happened before another one. First, his mother left, then he woke up. Let's compare the present perfect tense with the past perfect tense. In the present perfect tense, our reference point is the present. Who is this man? I haven't seen him before. Before here refers to any time before now. However, in the past perfect tense, our reference point is in the past. Yesterday, I met a man at school. I didn't know who he was. I hadn't seen him before. And before here, in this sentence, refers to any time before yesterday. When before and after is used in a sentence, it is already clear that which action happened first. So, we can use the past simple instead of the past perfect. So, instead of saying, she had lived in Ankara for 5 years before she moved to Istanbul, we can say that she lived in Ankara for 5 years before she moved to Istanbul. The past perfect tense is also used with thinking verbs such as remember, realize, think, discover, etc. He realized that he had already fallen in love with her, and from this sentence we understand that he fell in love with the girl before and then he realized it. Let's look at the form. When you look at the sentences in the table, you see that with all subjects we have the auxiliary had plus past participle. And it's the same in negative sentences and questions. Okay, let's practice what we have learned so far. In the first exercise, you will choose the sentence which is closer in meaning to the original one. You can pause the video here. Here are the answers. And in the second exercise, please complete the sentences with the correct form of the verbs in brackets. Here are the answers. Okay, friends, that's it for narrative tenses. For further study and practice, you can click on the links given here. And please don't forget to go to your pack and do the exercises on page 36 and 37. If you want to practice writing and speaking, you can compose a story by using the words given here. You can use the words in any order. Then, read aloud your story and record your voice. Remember to use the past simple, the past continuous, and the past perfect tense in your story. Thanks for listening to me.